With profound, humble gratitude and love to all venerated enlightened masters, we bow to the Almighty in soulful gratefulness for gifting us with their holy, blessed presence. May all beings be awakened by their divine grace. Etc.
Của trời đất vào xuân, ta gửi tình trên cánh bướm, bay về cõi thanh thang, có người đẹp như giấc mộng.
Hello, beloved of heavens, the souls of eternity. I just have some little news to share with you, and hope all of you are doing your best so that the result, the outcome, will be the way that you want it, especially in the spiritual domain. And by the way, before I forget again, thank you all who wished me happy birthday. In the last weeks, I just couldn't reply to all of you personally, though I was thinking how to. Then I got too busy, neglected it. We dragon people are also forgetful and too over-engaging as well. And as you know me so well, I'm this kind of dragon, so forgive me, please. Yeah, you reminded me that it is the year of the dragon, my birth year, so you especially wish me the best. Thank you, and thank you. Well, I wish all of you who are born in the lunar dragon year also a fantastic time and all the best as well. I do not celebrate my birthday since long ago. I have no heart for it, as the world is still in pain and sorrow. But you all, vibrant dragons, please do celebrate and enjoy with heaven's blessing and love. I want to talk to you because yesterday I happened to observe some of the helping hands of the King of Peace. And I thank him. I thank him a lot for helping to do God's will and helping the world to have a more calm, more harmonious atmosphere. And then I asked him whether or not he could do more than just that. He said he can only do what he can and within the law of the universe. But actually I saw that he has already done more than what he could. And what he does, mostly he has to do it quietly and almost secretly. Then I called the God of War and talked to him. I said, why are you doing all this? So of course the answer is obvious. He told me that he doesn't enjoy what he's doing, like inflaming war in this world. But the karma force is too heavy, too overwhelming that he couldn't do otherwise. So I told him, don't you have any sympathy for the victims of the war anywhere? Because as you see, it's not what anybody wanted. It's too much suffering, too much pain, separation, anxiety, worry, terrible situations, physical and all kinds of pain, mental, psychological, emotional. So he said to me, quote, the force of karma kills all sympathy and compassion. So it's always zero sympathy, zero mitleid, unquote. Yeah, mitleid means sympathy. Even though he wants to, he cannot. There is no room, no chance for any sympathy to survive if the karma force is there. Oh, he talked more eloquently, but I cannot seem to really say it. So I said to him that I also understand his position and the work that he has to do, but I cannot bear it to see the humans suffer too much, especially the innocent bystanders, like the elderly and the children. That really is wrenching my heart every day. So how about he punishes me instead, alone, and leaves other people in peace? I'd be willing to suffer, however much and however long it can be. And I try to do PR for myself, like public relations, you call it. You know, I advertise for myself. I say I'm more worthy than any of the victims in the war, and all of them put together. So if you destroy me, if you punish me, it would be worthy enough. It would be good enough for everyone else. So he told me it's not possible. I say everything is possible, why not? So he said, the killing and violent energy doesn't mix with peace energy. So the peace just stays alone and that killing energy stays alone. They won't mix together. And the killing energy will not be able to cover the peace energy. Thus, it is obviously like two polar kinds of energy, two different separate kinds of energy. So it's not possible for peace energy to mix with the violent energy in order to become one with it, because the peace energy cannot be destroyed. I guess he means that my energy is for peace, and the karma of the world is violent, killing, and all this destruction. They cannot mix together, so he cannot destroy it. So he has to destroy only the violent energy. Well, I hope I make myself clear. When I was talking to him, it was all absolutely clear. Actually, his words, he said that because the war karma and the peace karma come from different sources of energy, they cannot mix together. That's why the energy of war cannot cover, cannot wrap around, cannot mix with the energy of peace. That's why I cannot sacrifice to make peace for people. The world people have to change into a right way of life. I have to cut away the violent and killing way of life. Then peace will come, and peace will reign and will be lasting. That's his words. This is the first time I heard something like that from the king of war. I thought you can give everything you want as long as you have it. But it's not true. If you have peace energy, you can't even give it to dilute the war energy. Maybe a little thing like you can help by sitting next to a nervous person or a frightened person and calm him or her down with your energy. Peace energy, but not to dilute the whole world war energy. Oh my God, and I thought we could give everything. And I'm very sad to hear all this. Later, I told the king of war, I will continue the best I can. I won't give up. And you better be on my side for your own sake. Goodness will always win. So you see, karma is something we cannot avoid. Good karma or bad karma. And another unavoidable is God's will. The other day, I talked to you about the 1 meal per day. I never intended to tell you. One time, the former vice president of Taiwan, Madame Lu, came to visit the New Land ashram, and one of her accompanying females asked me if I eat once a day. I did not say anything. I talked about something else. I didn't want to talk about that. And that day, I don't know why, my tongue just slipped out and told you that. You know, even if I don't remember saying all this before about the 1 meal per day diet, it's just born out of sympathy for all others, you know, hungry people, hungry animal people also, and all the lack of comfort, of the minimal basic comfort of food for other beings as well, like even trees or plants. But then it slipped out of my mouth. After I sent it to the working team, I remembered that. But I've been busy with so many other things, so I noted down. I say, delete that. Delete that 1 meal per day. And then I thought when it came back to me for proofreading, I would delete it. But then I did not. I forgot. And then it slipped out of my hands and went on air. Oh God, I did not want that to be on air. I did not even want to tell you to begin with, because I didn't want the consequences of it, the multiplied karma of it. Also, I did not want for some people to copy it. You might want to copy what I do. It did happen that people wanted to copy what I do. But then it went on air. First of all, I didn't want to tell people about what I do in my private domain. And second, I didn't want people to follow it, because it might be not what they should do, or maybe not what I should tell them. Maybe I should not. Then I forgot 2-3 times. It slipped by until afterward. Oh my God. When I talked to one of the team members, I said, oh my God, I wanted to cut that part about me eating 1 meal a day, but then I forgot, and now it's too late. It's too late. And I was feeling very bad for a few days. But later, heaven told me that it's supposed to be revealed. Even though I was sighing, in relief, I still did not like for that part to be in the public like that. But then I know why it should be like that, so that there's another reason that I could tell you not to be in the extreme and to take care of your body, take care of your health, etc. Because God doesn't want people to restrict themselves too much with some kind of frenzied discipline, which is not all that necessary. The other day, I talked to you about the 1 meal per day. I never intended to tell you, but then it slipped out of my mouth. I didn't want the consequences of it, the multiplied karma of it. Also, I did not want for some people to copy it. But later, heaven told me that it's supposed to be revealed. Even though I was sighing, in relief, I still did not like for that part to be in the public like that. But then I know why it should be like that, so that there's another reason that I could tell you not to be in the extreme and take care of your body, take care of your health, etc. Because God doesn't want people to restrict themselves too much with some kind of frenzied discipline, which is not all that necessary. So later, I also remembered the Buddha allowed the monks and nuns to even have, nutritious juice of vegetables and fruit in the afternoon, after noontime, which is usually described as the only 1 meal a day time. Yeah. And then I remember so many yogis or practitioners practicing all kinds of punishment for the body. And I asked God if it's really helpful for them to be liberated. Because after all, they did all that for you, no? So God said no. God doesn't want people to hurt your temple. The body is a temple of God, and we should revere it. We should take good care of it, reasonably. Not go to the extreme, of course, unless sometimes necessary. Like if you have to go on television, like Supreme Master Television, for example, then you have to dress up accordingly and do some makeup and all that. It's all my idea. I want the people in the world to understand each other, to get to know other nations or other regions' costumes, yes, and traditions. You know, the more they know, the better. So we do all kinds of shows to bring the citizens of the world together in some respectful, loving, understanding spirit, that we should live together in that way. Then we would have peace, harmony, and we will never have war. But that is not enough, of course, because according to the king of war, I asked him, then what to do to destroy this warlike energy, killing energy, to have peace on earth, for people to live on happily, luckily, in the way they should. Then he told me, the karma force is extremely overwhelming, and the killing karma can never be destroyed unless the world people, his words, yeah, I quote him, quote, unless the world people change their way of life and completely cut off from violence, from killing, then war will be destroyed. Peace will come and permanently prevail, unquote. Now, we have been working for decades. I was feeling kind of lonely, working almost alone. But nowadays, with the internet system, with the communication spreading out all over the planet, I feel that so many accompanying citizens of the world are really motivated toward peace and try their best to advocate that through the animal people-free diet to the vegan regimen, the vegan way of life, yes, and many other similar or related ways. And I'm very happy and glad. It's just that the number is not yet enough to cover the violent karma of killing. We kill, oh my God, billions and billions of animal people yearly. How can we make up for that? How can we ever make up for that? Unless we all change to the benevolent way of life. Well, I guess even 5-year-old kids will understand what I'm saying. But the Maya magic is blinding everybody, deafening every ear, and dulling all this conscientious spirit within the heart of humans, mostly. Other animal people contribute less violent karma than us. You see, like, perhaps some animal people cannot be vegan, but humans, we have choice. We have lots of choices, and we can eat anything in the vegetable kingdom and have enough nutrition. That is the thing. We did not have to kill. We do not have to, and we will not have to kill. And we deliberately deny the benevolent way of life and choose to kill, to eat all this dripping blood, flesh, some even eating it raw. To eat animal people meat, when you remember it and think about it, you already feel very yucky. Not to talk about eating flesh that still has blood in it, or even alive. Oh my God. Oh, humans, some are so wicked. Oh, incredible. It's worse than some hell devils. Now we should try to think of how to formulate it again. I wish I could write it down. It would be easier for me to just read it, but I can't write anymore, you know, after editing a lot of shows on Supreme Master TV. I just don't feel like writing that much. I never really loved writing, only in school or when I was younger, writing poems, expressing my feeling at that present moment. Because it just came out, I just had to write it down. But poems are easier for me because they're short, and also they come out easily. So it was almost like I wrote down what came into my mind, quickly and simply. But the karma stuff and all the things that I have to explain to you are different. It has to be exact. And it has to be truthful. It's not just my personal feeling, but it has to be real and true. So it's more difficult than writing poems or short essays in school. Yeah. So you see, like, even in daily life, I don't write emails or anything. I don't have one anyway. I don't know how. Even if I knew how, I don't know if I like to write emails. Only if I have to write comments, corrections, or suggestions for the Supreme Master TV programs and contact some of my working team members. Otherwise, I just don't write anything except some short notes to remind me of things. And most important things, I mostly don't even note down. Like the conversation with the God of War, I forgot some of the words that he used. Well, it is of similar essence anyway. For example, the karma of violence or the energy of violence is similar, you know. It denotes the same thing. And you will understand anyway what I try to convey to you. But otherwise, except for some idea or something I had to write and I didn't have time, or it was not the time to write to my team members, or I do not want to have any more radiation at the end of the day. I write it down by hand. Otherwise, I don't write to anybody, except when it's work for Supreme Master Television. And that's a lot of work for me already. Because if you wrote down some wrong letters, then you have to rewrite it again. And then you have to arrange it so that you write it at the same place or exact place. In such a small, maybe room of the script for the show. It costs a lot of time. I don't write with 10 fingers even, yeah. With all that, I have enough work to do, and then I have to do inside work as well, you see? So I don't have the inspiration to write the long-winded articles or something anymore. I write only short sentences or short articles, like for slogans or vegan or peace. Yes. Short news, yeah, for the team. Some suggestions for the team, some shows to do, some comments on some shows, or some additions to some shows, etc. And these are enough work for me to do, because I need to do more inside work than outside. But I can't forsake either of them. I really miss the Himalayas times and the Hauta times. Hauta is a mountain area in Taiwan where I used to go to do retreats, either alone or with a couple of residents, yes. And then sometimes I took the whole residents group at that time to come with me, and we pitched tents on the bank of the river. And we lived simple, you know, yeah, very simple. Just cooked 2-3 big pots, and we shared it, you know, with some wild kinds of eatable vegetables at that time. And like maybe sweet potatoes, you know, potatoes, some fruit that we either ate raw or we put in a small bonfire, yeah, to roasted apple, you know, roasted orange, roasted corn, yeah, stuff like that. And we were very happy. And then I had to go out because of an already pre-arranged lecture or something, yes. So these two places I miss very much. I wish I could relive it any time. And there's also another place I like in America, one of the mountains, in San Jose, California. And that mountain is the only one that still has trees, plants, and white flowers, you know, that bloom so beautiful in spring. And now if you want to live up there, you have to have permission to build a house, yeah? And then you must make a road to go all the way from the foot of the mountain all the way up to the peak of that small mountain, not very big. But I didn't want to because I didn't want to cut trees to make a street. I looked all over around, many hills, so many mountains were already all empty. That was almost the only place that had plants and trees, and big trees, so I had no heart to cut them down. I loved that place very much. Every night we just made a small little fireplace, with 3 stones and collected the dry wood around it to make vegan meals. And we lived in second-hand, fourth-hand, fifth-hand trailer, yes. And there's a little water well, on that mountain. There is also a lake in the front, which is the water supply for that city. I really loved that very much. I could walk, around all day long to look at the flowers, the trees, and the lake. I was very happy there. And then I had to leave because the lecture somewhere was waiting, I was always reluctant to leave, but then I thought, maybe I could come back. But it never happened again that I could come back somehow and live there forever and be a base for myself like that. These couple places, I love to stay there forever because nobody's around, only you and the mountain and the bird people and the trees and some small source of water, yes. And now it's completely different. I really miss the Himalayas times and the Hauta times. Hauta is a mountainous area in Taiwan where I used to go to do retreats, either alone or with a couple of residents, yes. And then sometimes I took the whole residence group at that time to come with me, and we pitched tents on the bank of the river. And we lived simple, very simple. So these 2 places I miss very much. I wish I could relive it any time. And there's also another place I like in America, one of the mountains, in San Jose, California. And that mountain is the only one that still has trees, plants, and white flowers, that bloom so beautifully in spring. I love that place very much. Every night we just made a small little fireplace, with 3 stones and collected the dry wood around it to make vegan meals. And we lived in second-hand, fourth-hand, fifth-hand trailer, yes. And there's a little water well, on that mountain. There is also a lake in the front, which is the water supply for that city. I really love that very much. These couple places, I love to stay there forever because nobody's around, only you and the mountain, the bird people, the trees, and some small source of water, yes. Now it's completely different. At that time, my finances were limited. Our food supply and clothing, everything was limited then, but I was the happiest. Now I could have anything I want. I could have things sent to me if I want, but I don't enjoy that much anymore. And I eat very simple, even just brown rice, sesame, salt. And if some vegetables, then it should be those, no pain kind. And if fruit, then just melons, cucumber, that's it. No more of those normal foods that humans usually consume. No oranges, no apples. I don't even buy juice because it would take a lot of work outside there to make juice. So I just eat melons directly, if I have any. And even the skin of the melons I made into pickles. So I have vegetables as well, you see. If I want to, I can eat them for freshness, yeah. You just put water, salt, vinegar, and a little sugar, And the peel you cut into small pieces and put into a jar or a glass container, and you leave it in the fridge for 3-4 days or for up to a week even you can eat them. Fresh, very nice, yeah. So we don't need to make a lot of landfill garbage. And also the peels are very nutritious, more nutritious than the flesh inside of the melons. Because when you eat melons, you can make the peels into a vegetable pickle. And that is quite a lot of food already, yeah. If it's convenient, then you can buy these melons and eat the flesh inside and use the peels to make pickles as your daily vegetable. It's a lot, So I don't have to buy a lot of things. That is quite luxurious already. And life can be more contented that way. You don't have to do a lot of washing or cooking or produce a lot of garbage. Because nowadays people sell you things for delivery that's already packed, in plastic bag, small or big. And that produces a lot of garbage in the end. Because I guess it's still a pandemic risk and many other risks of illnesses, like even bird flu nowadays is spreading all over already. And many other strange sicknesses or old sicknesses are revisiting. So people, when they deliver would wrap things, they sterilize the vegetables and then they wrap them in plastic to keep them hygienic for you. Yes. So in this kind of situation, we produce too much garbage for the landfill and the environment and choke the waterways and contaminate the rivers. All kinds of water everywhere. Nowadays, a lot of water sources are contaminated with forever chemicals, microplastics, and all kinds of harmful things. The water is not as pure as before, as in the Buddha's time, But even in the Buddha's time, the monks were already advised to use cloth to filter the water so that any worms or insects would not die in the cooking process. And even if the monks drank some milk at that time, the milk was humanely made, that. Some rich humans have cow, ox, or sheep people, and they just milk them with their hands. Very gentle, and just enough to use for their family or a little bit for the village. Not like how we produce en masse nowadays with all kinds of machines hooked up to the poor cow people, a breast sucking all the milk out, and we snatch away their babies, even eat their babies. Oh my God, there's no end to our violence. I don't know how most people's hearts can bear to eat all this if they really know how the meat is made and from what. You see, they just see the packet. They cannot picture the cow people suffering, struggling, kicking while being murdered or having their throat cut, or the babies being separated from the mother, crying all the way and going to be chopped to be your view. And all the fish people jumping, grasping for breath in the net, or being caught alive, kept alive, and having the head chopped to be eaten while still alive. Oh my God, many other things like that. And the crab and lots of people screaming when people throw them in the boiling water to be cooked alive. And all the shrimp people still jumping while being cooked. Oh, talking about that, it is terrible for the heart. I don't want to. I don't want to, but I have to remind people that these are the facts. The truth is like that. The truth is the flesh, the meat that you stuff into your mouth comes from tremendous suffering and pain of the innocent beings who have done no harm to you. Talking about all this is really heart-wrenching. Yesterday, I could not bear it, seeing so much suffering. physically and non-physically. You can see it in your mind even if you don't watch TV. Because your soul is free, you can roam around and look everywhere you want. Sometimes I have to shut it all down, otherwise I can't live. Yesterday I was in so much pain and suffering, seeing too much sorrow in the world. I normally don't pray to God for anything, for myself. But yesterday I had to kneel down and say, please, just for my sake, please stop all this. Don't punish me with all this suffering that I have to see, have to feel. I have to know. It was terrible. I cannot bear it. One who created all this, we are the master that could stop all this. So I just begging all of the people in the world, please be kind to yourself. Because if you really, truly want to be kind to yourself, then be kind to all others. Stop all the suffering for the animal people and for the humans in the war. And that is how you are kind to yourself. That's how you are planning a beautiful life for now and the future, and for all others around you, for all your children, grandchildren, great-great-great-grandchildren, for further generations from your clan, your family. Please be kind to yourself. I'm sorry to have told you all this. I just talk as it goes. Whatever comes. I don't write down anything. I don't have any people who write for me. I don't have anyone for a teleprompter or notes or anything at all. I'm talking only into recording devices. I use two, so in case one doesn't work or I might have forgotten to record on one. It did happen also sometimes, so I use two in case one is not working and the other is picking it up. By the way, something I want to tell my team members of Supreme Master Television. I have noticed that every time I praise somebody or some group for doing something well, something good, then the next day or next few days, they make a chaotic situation or bad stuff. I mean, it's not the first time. It was even before Supreme Master Television. Not bad harming anybody, but it's not good quality anymore, or they cause trouble for me by making some chaotic situation. So from now on, I'm not going to praise you anymore, openly or privately. Maybe privately, if it's good. Otherwise, the ego is something, such a big enemy of everyone. When I praise you, it's not that your soul hears it or needs it. It's the ego, the mind, and the mind is often made of ego. They're just blowing whatever I say out of proportion in their mind, and then they become more negligent of the important issue or the important work that they're supposed to accomplish. I also remind you that we don't need to praise people. No need, we don't need all that. Whatever we do good, whatever we accomplish perfectly in our assigned job or our own endeavor, it's a normal thing to do. We don't need any praise, any compliments, or anything like that. I don't need it either, okay? And you can see I minimize whatever we can, all this pompous stuff. Even my birthday, we don't celebrate anymore. You celebrate Qinghai Day, I don't. But it's good. Qinghai Day, I told you, is your day. You can remind yourself to go out and do some good things for other people, but don't feel proud, okay? Then it's good. Because the ego always tries to snatch all the compliments, all the credit. No, we should all thank God. And praise God that we have the ability, we have a chance to do it, that God allows us to do good things. And we should feel happy that other people are happy through our deeds. That is enough already. Just in the world, sometimes for everyone else, we encourage them to continue their job. So we have some awards, praise or thank you letters, but I'm still considering whether or not we should continue to do that. I will consider, I will ask heaven whether or not we should. Of course, the charity deeds, whenever you can, however you can, help others in need, must continue. Nowadays, our world is truly in big, big turmoil. So many refugees of the hunger war, not to talk about the real war with weapons, but the war of hunger, the war of thirst, are truly, killing many, many, many people, elderly children in the whole world, everywhere. Even in some powerful countries, rich countries. I saw people who are homeless, downtrodden, and my heart can never feel peace. I do what I can, of course, without reporting to you. Before, whenever I had cash, I would give it to people on the street. It would be better if I had some cash. Now I don't need it because I'm in retreat. I can't go anywhere to give. But before, all the time, I always carry some cash so that I could give it to people on the street. Or if I saw some poor family, or if I knew about it, I would go to their house and give them something, to take care of their urgent needs and more for the future. It's not very safe to keep cash with you, of course. But I always go with someone and I hide the cash well. Only if I need it, then I take it out. It's not very safe to do that. But because of my heart, it bothers me to see other people in need, walking with scorched feet on the hot asphalt road or wearing tattered clothes, not enough to cover from the winter wind. And so many other things, or the food banks are empty. So I just have to buy food and give it to them. All this, of course, you don't know. And when I'm in retreat, then I have to tell others to do it. It will go through the accountants, of course. But not all of them are reported to you. Mostly I remember to tell them, please don't tell it publicly, just go and do it for me. If I know somebody, I would call them and say, okay, go and buy this and that and engage your family or your friends. Go wherever possible, in your area or further, as far as you can, if your time allows and your work allows, to give to the food bank or to people. Do it quietly. So it's not that I tell you to do it alone. I'm also with you, doing things with you. Whatever you're doing, that's good for others. If I can, I'm also with you. We are a team, okay? Even if you don't know I'm doing anything, I'm doing it. I'm your team member. So do not forget to help others if you can afford it. Please, what for you hoard your money? Anywhere, if you don't need to. In the bank, for example. Oh, I don't like banks anymore. The banks give me a lot of trouble. Sometimes, a lot of bureaucracy. If I change my address or change my passport, then they would make a lot of trouble. They don't let me give money to others, through the check or through credit cards even. They stopped everything. I just wanted to send some money, just 40,000, to an animal people shelter that's in need. They forbid me. They say I'm not allowed. And if they ask some of my disciples, who used to keep my money for me before to send it to my bank, then they don't let me take it. For example, if it's from Singapore, they told me Singapore is a Muslim country. Oh my God, what kind of ignorant person is that? How can Singapore be a Muslim country? Incredible how ignorant the bank people can be. My own bank manager, I don't want to tell the name of the bank. Or should I? No, I don't want to take revenge. I'm just telling you it's true story that happened to me. And they almost like confiscated all my money in the bank. So I can't use for anything. I said, can I just send this money to all other places, like to the churches, the temples, the monks, the priests of different religions? Possible or not? Also, no, cannot. They just want to keep it, to make money for themselves. They don't care if my money can help others or can help religious institutions. It's truly like that. Because I don't like to always have money in the bank. I like to have cash also. Or I like to be able to send it, to any needy area. That's why sometimes I prefer to have cash, because I also give to the priest, Catholic or Muslim or Hindu priests or Hindu monks, Buddhist monks, anyone who I see is needy or worthy. I give to the priest because I know the priest will give it to the poor. The Catholic priest, the Christian priest, and the Buddhist monks, they also will have orphanages, or they will raise old people in the temple. I know all that, so I give to them. I also say they can use some for their personal needs, like shoes and winter clothes. Or sometimes I buy it and send it to them. Or I send them money and say, I saw your shoes are tattered or, very worn out. Please, this is for your shoes. And some extra for your clothes for winter. Because here is very cold. For example, some monks, like Thai monks, Vietnamese monks, but they live in a colder country. Or they live in some small area with a small room to do their work, for their believers, for their faithful. And they don't have enough clothing, or they don't have money. So I buy it to send it to them, or I send the money through some of their followers to bring it to them. I say, go buy this and that for him, for her, or ask him and her what they want and buy it for them. And I can't just send a check with it. I don't have checks with me all the time in my pocket. Money is very convenient, So do not look down upon money. Money is very important, very good. If you don't use it, if you have a lot of surplus, please take it out of your bank and give it to others who are in desperate need. Give them some more time to be alive so that they, by chance, will remember God, pray to God, and they may be uplifted and blessed for that merit. If not in this lifetime, then next lifetime. Because not all of them can see the Master to liberate them. No, not all have that fortune even. It's easier to have the fortune to be rich, but not easy to have the fortune to meet an enlightened Master to liberate you. I like cash, because it's very practical to use. Sometimes I live in different countries. I go around and see which animal people shelter, which orphanages need money. I just give. Because I don't want to let them know my name. I don't want them to know who I am and all that. So cash is very convenient for me. When I'm not in retreat, of course. But sometimes the bank, even if I went to another country and I want to change a bank, they don't let me. They make so much trouble. One time I went to Canada. I wanted to buy a house there. It looked very nice, and I wanted to stay in Canada, but then the bank stopped me. My bank, at that time, was in Spain. They stopped me. There was another bank. I have had many bad experiences with banks. Bank in America, bank in Spain, big banks. international famous banks, not normal ones. I thought, these kind of internationally famous banks would have good service, easy for my life. It's not true. And internationally famous ones also from Germany, America, Spain, France. Oh, I tried all kinds of banks. They make so much trouble for me, so much bureaucracy. I have had many bad experiences with banks. A bank in America, a bank in Spain, big bank. International famous banks, not normal ones. I thought, these kind of internationally famous banks would have good service, easy for my life. Not true. It's not true. And internationally famous ones also from Germany, America, Spain, France. Oh, I tried all kinds of banks. They make so much trouble for me, so much bureaucracy. And one time I wanted to give for the Katrina disaster. They also make trouble for me. I had to write a lot of things so that they could send money for that Katrina to help the victims. I prefer people don't know my name. In the back of my mind, intuitively, maybe also for safety reasons, I don't want people to know that I have so much money here and there. For normal people, it's a lot. I don't have so much like many of the people yes. But for other people, or even for robber, it's a lot of money, okay? If you have a cash, it's very simple, just to give it to anyone, anytime, when you see fit, yeah? Or even I buy things for the food bank from the shop, or for poor people, because sometimes the council or the mayor of some city announces it. So I just go to the shop and buy it, leave it there at the shop for the manager of the shop to send it. I don't send it myself. In those cases, I just buy with cash. That's why sometimes I have a lot of cash. I don't do it anymore, especially in retreat, of course. But I don't want to give it by check or credit card because people can find out. Like one time in Canada, I didn't have any more cash and I had to use a credit card. Then the police even went to the shop to ask who bought it. Is it real money or because it was a lot? So they doubted, whether or not there was something fishy. So they went to the shop and asked. And they said, okay, this is her credit card, it's her name, it's all okay. And then they would know my name. And then even when on the newspapers and television, oh my God. Yeah, that's the thing that I least wanted. In this world, it's so complicated even to do some good things. But I guess for you, you are not very known to too many people, so you could use a credit card or your bank transfer or something. But on the street for the homeless, you can't give a credit card to them. You can't give a check to them. I'm not sure if they can even go to any shop and produce a check to have some food. I'm not sure. One time I make trouble for myself, even with a check. In some countries, there are 2 or 3 systems, like in the United Kingdom. For example, I can't remember very well. It was long ago. Somewhere like Northern Ireland also belongs to the United Kingdom. I can't remember if it was in Northern Ireland or it was already in England. Northern Ireland also belongs to UK, United Kingdom. But I did not know that there are different money spent there. And in Ireland, Southern Ireland, they use euro, for example, nowadays. But when you go to Northern Ireland, they don't accept it. That is the thing. And causes a lot of trouble too. It's not just that you have money, then you don't have trouble. It's just less trouble, okay? I normally don't like to use a credit card because of their names, and sometimes people can copy it and take the money out of the bank of the person who lent me the credit card. My team, it's easier for them to handle a credit card and they lend it to me. When I'm traveling, I use an ATM or something like that, Yeah. But then I didn't know that even in one island, they use different money. Like Ireland, Southern Ireland, in Dublin, they use European money. In Northern Ireland, they don't accept it because it belongs to the United Kingdom. And then one time I used a credit card because I didn't have any more cash. If you keep giving away, then even the mountain will fall down. That's what the Vietnamese people say. So I borrowed credit card. It's my money anyway. My team who take care of my money, take care of that for me. Yeah, so that I can have some emergency use of my money from an ATM. I don't even know how to use it. I have to ask somebody nearby in the shop, please show me how to use the machine. Yeah. And then they show me, first you push this and push that, and then the money will come out. Okay, I did that several times. And now in that country, it was Northern Ireland, and I pushed in the credit card, but I pushed in the wrong machine, believe it or not. I thought all the machines give the same money. No. In that area, I'm sure there was Northern Ireland. I put the credit card in a machine and some other money came out, but I did not even look. I'm not an expert in money differences, even though everybody would know it. I don't handle too much money in a strange country, so I didn't know a different money came out. And later, I could pay in the shop around that area to buy some shoes because I needed a pair of shoes, so I bought that and some new clothes, a jacket, just for warmth. And I could pay then, and I also could pay even a vegan sandwich shop, fine. So I thought no problem. So the rest of the money, I put it together with the other money, English money or European money, yeah, euro. And then I went back to England, to London, and then I didn't have any more English money. I paid for a taxi or airplane or whatever already. So I didn't have any more English money, cash. So I went to a shop. I saw a long queue, going there. And they told me you can change money in there because I had some other money that the shop did not accept. And then I realized this is different money. It's not English money. You can spend that in Northern Ireland, but not there in London at that time. They told me, not here, not here. You can't spend this in London, not here. You have to change it. So then I had to go in that shop. And before that, I stand in front of that shop waiting in queue. I had a lot of EU money in my purse, so I wanted to change euros. And I poured out one. At that time, I did not know that money was different. I wanted to change euros because that money is not a lot anyway. I want to change a lot of euros to go find a hotel and go in a taxi and go eat something. And then I saw a man sitting on the floor, very poor, in tattered clothes, so I thought he needed money. So I took out some money from my purse and gave it to him. And he saw the money. He said, no, not here. You can't spend it here. This is not English money. I said, oh, okay. I didn't know that. So now you could go in that shop there in front here and change the money into pounds. They will change it for you. You go in front of me. I gave him my place. And then later he went in and he changed. He came out and he told me, oh, I changed it. It's good. So I thought it was no problem. I went in, and I also wanted to change the same money. And then they wouldn't change it for me. They scolded me. They say, you don't do this kind of thing. You send a man in first to change it for you, and now you come in and change it. I don't do this for you. I said, oh, no, sir, I did not know. So what do you change? Do you change euros then? He said, yes, of course. So I had to step aside and let somebody else come in first because I had to open my luggage and get more money out, And then they didn't change. They gave me a very hard time and were scolding me about all kind of things. I didn't know why they were scolding me. I just wanted to change the money. I guess they suspected me or something because I'm not English looking. Of course, I'm not, yeah. And so I say, okay, can you please change, as much as you can so that I can get a taxi, go to a hotel and wash because I need to wash and I need something to eat. So they changed 300 euros for me into English money. Oh, I did not know. It was so difficult just to change money. Right, so when I went out to get a taxi, I also didn't know how to get a taxi there. So I asked the people who were queuing with me, do you have a taxi number so that I can call a taxi for me? So one kind lady dropped from the queue and said, over there. There's a shop. Inside you have free phone call for taxi. I said, oh, wow, there are such things? So kind. And where is the shop? She pointed the finger. What is the name of the shop? How do I get there? She said, okay, I'll take you there. So she brought me to the shop. I gave that post office, a couple of €1,000, but they only changed for me finally when I say, please change some so that I can go have something to eat. Then they changed only €300. They didn't change more. I said, okay, thank you anyway. And then the lady later also told me, the one who brought me to the shop, she told me, you can go to that shop. They change everything for you, any money and bigger amounts for you. I said, oh, really? So kind. So later, when I got the taxi from that free phone, she even showed me how to call that phone. Just pick it up and somebody will talk to you. And then you say you want a taxi and you tell them where you are and they will come. I also didn't know where I was. So I say the shop. And they say, oh, we have so many shops like that. So you have to tell me the address. So I asked the shop workers to come and talk to the taxi. I was a stranger, in the land of Egypt. So they helped me and I got a taxi. So I asked the people who were queuing with me, do you have a taxi number so that I can call a taxi for me? So one kind lady dropped from the queue and said, over there's a shop. Inside you have free phone to call for taxi. She even showed me how to call that phone. Just pick it up and somebody will talk to you and then you say you want a taxi and you tell them where you are and they will come. I also didn't know where I was. So I say the shop and they say, oh, we have so many shops like that. So you have to tell me the address. So I asked the shop workers to come and talk to the taxi. I was a stranger, in the land of Egypt. So they helped me and I got a taxi. And then later, I got a hotel room, a small, cheap one. I went to change some money, and then I was feeling safe. But then the hotel asked me so many things, not just passport, but driver's license. God knows I don't have. And then credit card, I was not willing to give because it's not in my name either. I borrowed. Oh, my life is not all that simple. You thought it is. It's not. I already thought my life was simple. It's not. So I couldn't stay in that hotel either because I'm not credible enough. They don't believe in your face, your talk, your look, however gentle you look or however soft you talk. They believe in the printed credit card, for example, like that. So I couldn't stay there in that hotel. I had to leave in the night with a taxi because I didn't know what else to do. No more shops, no more trains, no more buses at that time. I went with a taxi from London to where I was supposed to go. It was about 2 hours. Well, and the taxi driver was a Muslim. He told me he was a Muslim. Fine, good. So I greeted him in the name of Allah. But maybe he had a bad time with his wife or something at home. He kept talking very harshly to me all the way. For anything, any reason, just talk harshly. But then suddenly he changed his tune, he talked about how he didn't want to eat this and that because of allergies. I said, oh, then you're most like vegan. He said, no, I'm not vegan. I just eat that and this because it's not allergy. I drink almond milk and, lactose zero milk. I said, oh, I know, because I'm vegan. I drink this and that vegan milk. I don't drink, lactose milk. And then when we stopped at the shop, because he needed to fuel his car, and then I went in and bought a lot of things for him, all vegan, biscuits, cakes, and different type of vegan milk to try. And then he began to be very harsh to me again. He snatched all the things from my hands and threw them back on the shelves. I said, but why? I will pay for it. He said, no, I don't want. He was so very harsh. He must have had some trouble, bodily or something. Or maybe it was late at night and he wasn't willing to take me so far away. But he had to because he was on duty. He was in the line to take customers, so he had to. I apologized profusely all the time. I said, oh, sorry, it's late at night and I will make it up to you. I will pay more than you ask. Don't worry about it. And here, take some first, Here is £50 for you. Please, that is for you alone first, and later I will pay more, okay? And then he say, no, you keep it, pay all together later, fine. He was not about taking money or trying to make trouble. He was just in some kind of trouble at that time. Then I talked to him about Islam, something I know about the Hadith and the Quran. And then he began to like it, So we were okay. We were friends until the last minute. And then I went to where I was supposed to go. And then I said, please stop here in front of that vegan restaurant. I need to eat something. Also, I didn't want him to know where I was going next. I often change my taxi midway to keep my safety. That's what I'm thinking, Is it safe anyway? A safe country, but I always try to take extra precautions because I often travel alone. Anyway, so I went in the restaurant and ordered some vegan food. And then after that, I called a taxi and I went to another place. Sometimes I just stop the recording and record again, so my voice doesn't always match with the previous voice. I hope the viewers don't mind. The reason why I keep changing taxis, if I have to go by taxi, is because I'm mostly generous to the drivers. I give them good, very generous tip, or I invite them to have vegan meals that I order from the restaurant, and then I give it to them to take away. And they know I have money then. So in case, just for safety reasons, I change the taxi. And I always stop where is it safe. And then maybe I walk to where I want to go. Stop in front of a hotel. I ask for another taxi from the hotel. A new taxi driver, for example. It's just an extra abundant precaution because I'm in the world alone. And this world is not all good and honey, to everyone. And I have to take care of myself. I used to come back to Taiwan or somewhere else sometimes, and tell people in advance to come and pick me up with a car or something. But later, I didn't want to anymore because, for example, all the Taiwanese would come and, it was very crowded at the airport. I don't want to disturb other people's traveling. And I don't want people to block others in any way at all. They would bring a sedan chair and then put me on top of that chair and carry me with 4 people, 2 in the front, 2 in the back on their shoulders so that everybody else can see. Oh my God, it was really something challenging. And it was very shy. So after a while, I didn't dare to let anybody know that I was coming back or going anywhere at all. I just ran away. Even when I went around in the Europe tour, remember the European tour during the war? At the invitation from one of your sisters begging me to come to stop the war. At that time, I went all alone with my simple luggage. And I would not dare to go in any of the disciples' cars or go with them or anything. I went all alone. And when I saw them coming toward me, I immediately ran somewhere else. So that one time, remember I told you in Slovenia, there were no more taxis there at all. And all the disciples saw me because they were also going to hear my lecture on the tour. They followed me everywhere at that time to different countries. But I always went alone. And they saw me and said, oh, master, come here, we have a car. No, I didn't dare because everybody would come. If I went there, stay there, waiting for their car, then everybody else would come. And it would be chaotic at the airport. So I went hiding in one of the rental cars. And the only car I could rent at that time was the stick shift. I had never driven a stick shift in my whole life. And it was the last minute for the shop. The man was so eager to close his shop to go home. And he just told me, you do this, do that, and then the car will go. I said, please, no, I have never driven this kind of car before. He said, you know it. How? Because in Europe, I saw a lot of cars, only stick shifts. So he took it for granted that I would know that I just wanted to sissy-sassy with him to delay him from going home to his wife and kids and having dinner. I said, no, I really don't know. Please show me. He said, you will know how. Just do it. Just drive. You press the gas and you press I even forgot what he told me. And now if you tell me to drive a stick shift, I will not know how anymore. So at that time, I drove all the way from the airport to the capital, and the car stopped many times. I had to stop right on a big piece of paper and tape it, put it on the back glass window. New driver, please, please pay attention. And then people driving past me saw me, ka-chum, the car almost stopped or didn't want to go. They kept looking at me with friendly smiles. People, they were so kind, they understood. They just avoided my car. And I was praying, all the time, please let the car keep going. And I don't know how, stop, star, ka-chum, half stop, half star, all that. And still I reached one of the hotels somewhere on that motorway. Then I went in. And I let the hotel staff take care of that car, call that company, go pick it up tomorrow or whenever. Please tell me if I can get a taxi to go to the capital. So they arranged all that, because I needed to go quickly. I couldn't ka-chum with that car anymore. It's dangerous and I will be delayed too long. Because at that time, every 2 days, was one country lecture. You remember that, yeah? Every 2 days, I had to be in another country. So I couldn't just play with that car, Luckily, heaven protected. Angels, helped me. And somehow I reached a hotel, yeah, and arranged that. And he say, oh, it's very expensive to go to the capital with a taxi. I said, no, I don't care. Please, I have money to pay. Of course, when I went on the road, I prepared. I had cash and also some credit cards. Anyway, so I said, don't mind, I have money. That's why I always have to change the taxi wherever possible, because people would know I have money. Because sometimes they don't want to take me. They worry it's too long distance. And if I have money or not, and I'm a stranger, I'm not European, stuff like that. It's very difficult to be on the road by yourself. And you have to protect yourself as well. And you have to convince people that you have money for long distance. Now I remember all that. It's like a Hollywood story, hey? Okay, yeah, finally, there's good news I want to tell you. You remember the story of the black magic woman, yes? That use, this karma gap, bad magic to harm me, yeah. Even though she did not succeed in killing me, she did some harm. My intestine has been wounded by this special witchcraft, and it has been injured for many months. After I told you about that, it's just like somebody shoots you, with a gun or something, but it just passed you by, it didn't go into your vital organs to kill you. It just maybe passed by, and it probably still can hurt you when it's near that organ. So similarly, my intestine was wounded, and I thought it would be okay after a while, because the wound doesn't cause much pain. No, it's differently done. So I just let it be. I thought, after a while it will be okay, because the wound is not big. It's about maybe 1/3 of your middle finger size, yeah? So it's not all that big. I thought I would have enough power to cure it. Because I'm also busy, I can't just sit there thinking of that little wound. So I kept doing all my other things. It's too busy, outside work, inside work, business, meditation, and all kinds of things that happen, every day of your life. Same with me, yeah? Even if I'm in retreat, things can still seep in if the work karma is too heavily laden at one time or another. It's always kept me busy. So I even forgot all about the wound, the injury. Until some months later, maybe about 4 months ago, it began to trouble me. But I also forgot all about the karma gap, bad magic. I thought it's just world karma as a whole, you know, because every time I asked something, they always told me it's a world karma. So I just took it for granted like that. I didn't even ask anymore because I'm also very busy, you know that, very busy. Every minute, every second of my life nowadays is quite busy like that. So I forgot also about the wound in my intestine, and it was becoming more and more troublesome. You know, it caused trouble for the stomach. Only in recent days, then I was told, or thankfully, that the intestine has a wound, and the wound feeds the stomach with discharge. That's why the stomach had a problem. But I didn't think much because it's just some pain and a lot of bubbling. But I didn't feel too much dragged down. I didn't feel like unhealthy or sick or anything. I was still doing all my work. Until recently, when I was told like that. So then I knew what to do. I remembered that. And it has become better now. Thank you to God's grace and all the protecting power. And I asked that source of information, why didn't you tell me earlier? Huh? Then I could have been more comfortable and the wound wouldn't have had to be there all this time. What if the wound had broken my intestine and then I would have had to go to the hospital? I can't do it now. I'm in retreat. So I was told, oh, it was a world karma that not allowed to. I said, again and again. All right. And I even know some home remedies to take care of stomach problem and injury, but I didn't even remember that until recently when I was told that I have a wound in there and the stomach has been fed with the discharge. You know, the intestines injury fits into the stomach, what is called discharge. That is their exact word. Because I didn't think about that. I didn't know about that. I didn't know that the wound in the intestine could fit discharge into the stomach and make stomach problems. All kinds of things happen, you know, difficult digestion, bloating, heavy stomach that you could feel like somebody put some stones in your stomach and you have to walk around with it. And even when I knew all that, I did not ask for help. I was just too busy to think. And it's not because of busy things, but it's the karma that forces you to behave like that you don't understand. That you will forget. Even though you can heal yourself, you forget. Even if you have a healing medicine, you would forget. So karma is a terrible thing. That's what I want to tell you through this story. And I even asked God if I'm allowed to tell you. Because some suffering, some pain, or some sorrow, I'm not always allowed to tell you or anyone, okay? I'm glad I could tell you this so that you can be more aware of the force of karma, of your own individual karma as well as the surrounding karma and the karma of the world. Sometimes I take people with me, you know, like some attendant, and normally he behaves very well until we stay somewhere together with some other disciples even, and she becomes different, completely different. Like she doesn't cook for me, she doesn't do anything, just stay in the room all day long, you know, with the excuse of meditating. Fine. Finally, I have to stop my work and go cook for myself and for her when she comes in. So every day like that, for at least almost 2 months till we moved away. Every day I cook. She does nothing. And she came in 8, you know, late, 6, 7, 8. Then I had to remind her to be well, to be warm and all that stuff. I don't mind, it's just I thought that it was the world karma that made her do that way. But later, you know, heaven told me it's not. I said, then why does she behave like that? And they told me that, what's the word they say to me? I just want to quote exactly, but sometimes I forget. It was long ago. It's past already, you know, I don't remember. Okay, I forgot the exact word, but the meaning is that the person next to me in the next room who followed me, you know, and was supposed to help me, didn't do it because she was infected by the karma of the other two, whose house I paid rent to stay in. So karma is a scary thing. And now you understand why many yogis, many spiritual practitioners went away to far away places, Himalayan peaks or end of the Himalayan mountains, where nobody ever can come up, like Gamok in the Himalayas, where it's snow all year round. And even in summer, the snow is so thick, nobody can go up. Until maybe when the army goes and clears all the roads in the Himalayas, so the pilgrims can come. Then people come up and bring food for the yogis or the spiritual practitioners over there, in that remote mountain of the Himalayas. And they would receive food maybe during all that time, and some dry food, to keep for 6 months when all the snow is impenetrable in that Himalayan region. I went through much of that area after the army cleared the snow, because it's such a thick snow that on both sides it's still like walls, very high walls, 3-4 meters high. Only snow and ice on both sides of the path where the pilgrims can go. So karma is truly a terrible thing. Sometimes you go out to work or do something or meet somebody and suddenly you feel different. You feel aggressive, you feel uncomfortable, you feel sick, or you vomit, you get a headache, anything like that. Is not always because of your karma, but because you are infected by the karma next to you. Or even some disciples, when they watch TV, outside the TV, then they get headaches all the time, anytime. If they don't watch a TV anymore, then they're free of headaches. So if you have some sickness that comes suddenly, or something provokes it, you pay attention and avoid that situation, avoid watching that show or meeting those people. If you can, absolutely avoid it. Okay, by the way, just to tell you. There are so many things I can tell you, or I cannot tell you. But I'm also very busy to talk to you every day. It's not the same situation now. In retreat, I have to do a lot of inside work, more important even than the Supreme Master TV work, but I have to do both. So if I don't talk to you for a long time, please understand, I never neglect you inside. I'm always with you. God permits me that grace. So please don't worry, okay? We're always together. God made us together. God is pleased that we are together and that you cooperate with me under God's will, so we can make our lives better, our relatives and friends' lives better, our loved ones better, and the whole world better in our little humble effort, okay? We thank God for allowing us to do that. So don't pray too much for anything, just pray that God's will be done and that you will always be able to do God's work and that you never forget God. Pray God, only that you will not forget God and always think of God, miss God, love God, long to be with God. And pray that God never forgets you also. God doesn't. It's just that if we obstruct ourselves with some unrighteous deeds or some wrong concept or wrong thinking, then we block ourselves from God's presence and we will not feel God's presence and love. But God never stops loving us. God never forgets us. Just pray that you don't forget God. All right, my love? Okay, then I guess that's it for now. I have to go and do some other work. Also, Supreme Master television work is still waiting. I will talk to you another time, yeah? All my love to you, all of you, disciples or non-disciples, and all beings on this planet and everywhere I can reach. My God bless me to continue to do that. My God bless you abundantly every nanosecond of your life and all your loved ones to be blessed that way, and that all of you and your loved ones and all beings would never forget God. That's what I wish. Thank you very much. Amen. Dear God, we love you. We ask for forgiveness and for your guidance at all times, so that we know what's the right thing to do for others. Well, of course, for ourselves also. Amen.
Remember God, you are divine. Have a good night. Remember God.
Supreme Master CHINGHAI, vegan, is a world-renowned spiritual teacher, humanitarian, and artist. To learn more about her compassionate life and teachings, please visit suprememastertv.com/master.
Peace is happening around our world. Peace News number 82 of many and counting. There are many countries promoting peace and fostering amity among peoples and governments, etc. February 2024. The United States Treasury Secretary, the Honorable Janet Yellen, advocates for the liquidation of Russian central bank assets worth $300 billion that have been frozen by the United States and other nations, and sending them to Ukraine or Iran for reconstruction efforts in rebuilding a peaceful life for the country's gentle citizens. By creating peace, we all can make a loving, serene, and prosperous world.
There's nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come, and this veganism is it. And it's only going to get bigger from here. Chris Del Force, vegan.
Being vegan, having peace, heaven, Godspeed.